In today's video, we'll be talking about family pets while babysitting. And pets is a very generic term. So when I say pets, we could be talking about a fish, we could be talking about turtles, snakes, gerbils, hamsters, an annoying dog. I'm just kidding. Hey, there's so many pets out there that who knows what you could be walking into. Now, if you are not comfortable with pets in the home, that should be your very first question when you talk or when a family's trying to book you. Do you have any pets? Depending on their answer, if they could be locked up, if they are a fish, then depending on their answer will be dependent on if you babysit for them or not. And if you have to turn down a job because you're uncomfortable with pets, so be it. There'll be more jobs out there. So you just have to weave out those families that do have pets that you're not comfortable working for and with. Now, if this family, for example, has a hamster, a couple of the questions I go through first, my number one question to this family is, are the children allowed to play with this pet or handle this pet? If so, what does playing look like with this animal? Is it in a hamster ball? Is it in the kid's laps? How long is it allowed to stay out? Is the hamster going to scurry away? Am I going to have to be worried about trying to get it out from under the bed? These are some questions that I ask the family about certain pets like that. A hamster especially, those things are tiny. I used to have one, and man, it got lost at least 4 times for a good 24 hours. For cats and dogs, I ask more in-depth questions such as the feeding schedule, if they've been fed or not, do I need to feed them, where's the food, how much do I need to feed them, if they're younger dogs, do they need to go out more, is it good for the night till they get home, if I need to let it out, am I putting it on a leash and going out front, is the backyard fenced in that I can just let them out. Usually I double check if they have a name and a number on the collar just in case the dog gets out. It's the worst feeling ever. But if it happens to get out, making sure that there's a name tag or maybe a chip. Some dogs are chipped. So I ask more in-depth questions for cats and dogs. So cats are usually, well, is there a cat? Is it an outside cat or is it an inside cat? One of my families has an inside cat that swears it's an outside cat, so it screams at the back door every time I'm there because it thinks that I'm going to let it out. So you got to make sure that you know whether the cat is okay to be outside or does it stay inside. And then I go on to ask I turn from asking the questions about the animal or the pet to the children and the relationship the children have with these pets. For example, is the cat an old cat? Does it even like the children? If the kid pulls on its tail, is it going to come back and take a bite out of him? For dogs, if they're older dogs and they're not to be on top of them as much, or if they're an aggressive if they play aggressively, not on purpose. A lot of puppies play aggressively, like nibbling and stuff like that. So I ask those questions on if I need to be aware of when the child gets too close to the pet. And that can be the other way around too. If the dog doesn't like the child, okay, I need to know that. So I keep the child away from the dog. But also I need to know if the dog is overprotective of this child. So I'll ask just questions to help myself better understand what I can do to calm this dog or make this dog feel comfortable that I'm in its house, because it doesn't know if I'm a friend or foe. So I've had that happen to me before, that I've gone to approach a child not knowing that this dog is very protective over the child, and they stand between me and the child, and it's a very protective stance, and I know that if I were to go any farther, it would be not happy. So those are good questions to ask as well. Not only if the dog doesn't like the kid, but if it's overprotective on the kid as well. And then if they do say yes, the dog's overprotective or whatnot, then I'll go ahead, if I'm comfortable with it, I will suggest, is it okay if I bring a treat every time? so that the dog starts to understand that I'm a friend of the family. I'm there to play with the kid, not harm it. But if you are not comfortable with that and you come back to babysit over and over again, you are absolutely able to ask them if they could put the dog in the crate while they're gone, or close it in a room somewhere while they're gone. It's okay to not be comfortable around dogs, because some dogs just don't like new people. They don't like people in their houses, and I understand that. So you need to ask the right questions when working with a family that has a pet. Like I said, puppies, they need to go out often. They need to make sure that they're not getting into anything. It's like a second child. There are obviously so many questions that we need to ask these families for the first time, before they go out on a date night or leave you by yourself at the house. But you don't want to bombard them 5 minutes before they have to go with all these questions. So I highly recommend that you meet these families in person before babysitting for them. If it comes down to it, a phone call is good too. That way you can get those answers to the questions before they leave. But if you go and see them in person, this way you can get a layout of the house. You can feel, you can meet the kid and interact with them, get a feel for how the house flows. Also, the dog, you can meet the dog. This is a perfect opportunity for you to get an idea of if you're going to be comfortable with the dog in the house, or whatever pet it is. I'm just using dog because most people have dogs. So you can get an idea of like that, the dog's comfort level. It's not comfortability. The dog's comfort level with you before they leave. So you can gauge whether you want to come back and are okay with the dog being out, or if you would like for it to be put away. So that is all I have for you guys today on the subject of family pets and babysitting. I do want to know though, if you guys have come across any exotic or weird pets while babysitting. I think the most exotic pet that I have seen while babysitting was a snake, but I had nothing to do with it. The door was shut, the kids were not allowed in the room, and they knew that. So let me know if you guys have any other questions in the comment section below. If I have an Instagram, I created an Instagram, go follow that. That'll be in the description below. If you're new, thank you for joining me. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.